My save's gone and I'm pissed. Sons of Sparta is the least polished game in the entire God of War franchise. This is the game's full map, and I ran into bugs about right here. We've got weird visual bugs, audio bugs,
Be ready!
actual bug enemies, and a game-breaking save bug that got me twice. What is wrong with this game? First of all, I don't know if you could tell, but this isn't a typical God of War game. Kratos normally looks like this, and Sons of Sparta looks like this. 2D Metroidvanias are all about walking around, seeing something you have no idea how to interact with, picking some shit up 3 hours later to use on it, and coming back for revenge. The problem with Sons of Sparta is the backtracking part sucks. That big map I showed you earlier is fun to explore once, but trying to get places you've already been is a nightmare. For most of the game, the only way to fast travel is via the god temples, but there are 21 zones on the map and only 7 god temples. Even if you suck at math, that sounds bad. Here's an example of something that happens pretty often in this game. Congratulations, Spartan, you're in Sparta. Sparta is located right here in the middle of the map. You just got a new ability, so you want to go back through old areas to explore and get some upgrades. But uh-oh, dude, there's no temple in Sparta, the place where all the Spartans live. So instead of the quick, convenient fast travel you want to do, you instead have to run 15 screens this way until you get to this temple. Then you can fast travel kinda close to where you actually want to go. After 5 minutes of tedium and screen transition, you finally get there just to realize you have the right ability, but the wrong upgrade. No! The worst part is the walk of shame back through all these screens because you can't even fast travel to the main hub. The first time that my save broke, I had spent the previous 2 hours exploring and backtracking through the game like this. It was a little tedious, but I was getting upgrades and having fun. I had also marked the map a lot to remind me where I saw things that I couldn't interact with yet. I had that thing color-coded, brother. It was looking like the damn Mona Lisa. And then it was gone. My beautiful art. The only thing I had left was my Spartan brothers, who were at least 2 minutes away because there's no fast travel to Sparta. Why do they hate me? Next problem we gotta talk about is the combat. In a game series known for explosive, fast-paced combat, Sons of Sparta feels a little stiff. I think it's a mix of two things. One, everything Kratos does is too slow, like there's a lag between what you press and what happens. And two, the way the game interprets inputs. The best example of this are the abilities that you get from the tail on your Spartan Dory. I'm about to sound like a nerd, so you can beat me up after this if you want. I understand. The way it's supposed to work is that if you have enough spirit meter, you can hold block and press square to do a special attack. But when you do a combo, the game seems to hold on to your inputs during each step of the animation, long after you actually pressed the button. So there are a lot of situations where you go for a quick parry, but instead you get locked into a tail attack due to the held inputs. And low-key, the tail attacks are dog shit. Alright, you can kick my ass now. I basically never pressed this on purpose, and it only ever made things worse. I'm aware that it sounds very much like a skill issue, like, buddy, what are you doing? Is your controller even plugged in? But I've never experienced this kind of input problem with other games in the series. Because God of War is all about animation canceling. They play smooth as butter, baby. This man's a little Greek psychopath. The combat in this game also has a difficulty curve that looks like this. I played on the medium difficulty, and I died 2 times in the first 2 hours, and then like 2 times in the other 20. Part of that is because playing God of War when you're bald gives you Kratos level instincts, but the other part is that you can get insanely strong very quickly. If you shotgun the story until you unlock the Harvest Glaive and then look up where to find a single upgrade for it, the game is over, you win, congratulations. I got you a gift card to Chili's. I mentioned this in my first video about this game, but I don't think I emphasized enough how broken it is. Not only is this the strongest magic in Sons of Sparta, it is now the strongest magic in the entire series. For a fairly insignificant magic cost, you can send out a whirling spiral of doom. Feel free to use it on the little guys, the big guys, the really big guys. Definitely use it on them for sure. This ability is like if in God of War 1, Zeus imbued in Kratos the magical power of 14 handguns. I mean, sure, you can choose not to use it, but why would you, brother? Go ahead, man, grind on him or whatever, you little freak. Sure beats spamming the square button combo for 20 hours. This also naturally leads into my next point about the bosses. There's actually a large variety of bosses in this game compared to, I don't know, God of War 2018, released in 2018 on the PS18. The standout for me being the statue that becomes a fully sentient blood mass whose first and only instinct is to fight the nearest children. For legal purposes, I have to say that I don't approve of any of that. Wink. I don't think you're supposed to say wink. He is the peak of the game's difficulty, which is crazy because you fight him about 3 hours in or so. He utilizes the entire space of the arena with attacks that really test your ability to react, but also to understand positioning and timing. But unfortunately, every boss after this suffers from the same crippling weakness, which is the 300 hits per second metal object that I pull out of my ass. It really hurts when it's up there. The boss encounter design stays interesting throughout, but there's not really any reason to engage with it because I just throw out this magic every time and then leave. It's a shame because some of the bosses are legitimately cool. Pissed off green sphere goes crazy. There's also way too many different kinds of attacks in this game. Purple, red, blue, yellow. Here's a quick quiz for people who have played Sons of Sparta. A blue attack indicator on an enemy means Kratos must A, avoid or parry, B, avoid, block or parry, C, avoid or evade, or D. Wait, stop the quiz. What the was that last one? Avoid or evade? Brother, that's the same shit. Look at the thesaurus. It's literally right there. Or D, avoid. The answer is it doesn't matter because you can just avoid everything anyways, and why is this so complicated? The Norse games make it very simple. If someone's running up on you, you can block, parry, or dodge. A yellow icon means parry, a red icon means dodge. Easy enough for a doofus like me to wrap my head around. The Greek games are a lot more vibes based. What? Where sometimes you can block attacks and sometimes you're gonna crash out because of these stupid but dodging is always a perfectly good option. So why does Sons of Sparta, the game with the simplest combat controls for Kratos, make it so much more complicated? I 100% I mean, the game is so buggy, it's not like they want to fight me anyways. I made a video a few months ago talking about how strong Kratos was in each entry of the franchise, and it kind of goes without saying that he is the weakest in Sons of Sparta. Hey, how's it going, boys? Excluding the Harvest Glaive, holy shit. If I had to explain the power difference between Sons of Sparta Kratos and every other version, I'd probably boil it down to one sentence. Children are bad at combat. It's a bit of a hot take, but one that I stand by fully. My final gripe with the game is that there is an unprecedented amount of aura loss to the franchise. Kratos is one of the coldest protagonists in gaming history. I'm talking minute 1 of the first game, he proved he was that guy. The few times that we've seen a child version of Kratos, the dude is downright feral. I'm talking foaming at the mouth, punching his own head, psychotic. Deimos, for the 5 total minutes of screen time he has in Ghost of Sparta, is depicted as being as deranged, if not more so, than Kratos. Sparta looks grim and unforgiving to these two unfortunately cursed lads. But in Sons of Sparta, these boys are walking on sunshine. Kratos and Deimos are two quirky little goofballs who constantly go against the orders of their superiors and face virtually no consequences. The whole plot of the game is about finding a missing Spartan kid named, what's his name? Vasilis, right, of course, my favorite character in the God of War universe. Alright, for real though, rest in peace to rest in peace, little buddy. I wish the game wasn't about you. And I'm not kidding when I say the only objective in the main story is looking for Vasilis. This game is barely about Kratos, the God of War from the game series God of War. Also not really about Deimos, which would have gone crazy. Instead, it's about a guy who was dead the whole time. Easily the worst plot in a God of War game. This is the most 6 out of 10 thing I've played in a minute. God, I hope those remakes are good.